What up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Cardinal Red, and we back for some more of that Ali Land boxing talk, people. Yeah, and today we talking Manny Pacquiao is number one boxer at PBC. And I was just thinking about this, when it comes to the top boxers of today, Floyd Mayweather is technically still retired, so I was just thinking, like, who's the number one name in boxing, right? Everybody would say Canelo, but I would have to say Manny Pacquiao is a bigger draw than Canelo Alvarez. If you check the pay-per-view numbers, it's still, Manny Pacquiao is still number two in pay-per-view numbers. Canelo. People will say, in the present day, Canelo is, because he's the only one really selling pay-per-views, but I would have to say Manny Pacquiao is still the number one, guy when it comes to selling pay-per-views, when it comes to, and being active, when it comes to selling pay-per-views, to drawing a crowd. You saw what he did on ESPN, the numbers he put up on, I believe he drew like 5 or 6 million. It was some crazy million number that he drew when he had his fight on ESPN. And so, who's the biggest name? Who's the biggest name in boxing right now? I would have to say it's still Manny Pacquiao, because like I said earlier, Floyd is technically still retired at the moment. So, he's not the biggest name. If he comes back, he would be, back to being the number one name or whatever. But at the moment, everybody wants to fight Pacquiao. Everybody wants to fight. Everybody wants that credit for being the guy who beat Pacquiao in his last fight. You know what I'm saying? So, and now at the PBC, when you think about all the names that are at the PBC, no name at PBC is bigger than Manny Pacquiao. As far as when you think about the biggest welterweight names, you got Earl Spence, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Adrian Broner. You got Floyd, but Floyd's NA, he's not active. I'm missing somebody. I'm missing somebody, but out of all those names, Earl Spence, and Earl Spence is technically not signed with them, but he fights through them. Earl Spence, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Adrian Broner, and I'm missing another one. That's 6 fighters. If you put all of them guys' resumes together, they still don't equal up to Manny Pacquiao's name. So I would say the biggest name at PBC boxing, if you exclude Floyd Mayweather and Earl Spence, because technically, Earl Spence is not really actually signed with them, and Floyd Mayweather is inactive. The biggest name at PBC boxing would be Adrian Broner. And this is the reason he got the fight. They know, he might not be the greatest boxer that they could have put in there, but they know he's the biggest draw. He brings a huge African-American fan base with him, so it is what it is, Black people like people who wear gold chains and act retarded. But, he's the biggest name. The second big name would probably be Keith Thurman. I don't know why his name is so big. But I guess some people really like his boxing style, and they feel like he's a great boxer. And that's why his name carries weight. Next, I would say Sean Porter, then Danny Garcia, Now, like I said, we excluding Earl Spence and Floyd Mayweather. So you would have Adrian Broner first. And if you put all those guys up on the list, if you had Adrian Broner at the top of that list as the most popular guy, Manny Pacquiao surpasses him by at least 100. You know what I'm saying? You times his fan base by 100, he brings a whole country with, as big as the African American community is, and as big as, I'm black, so as big as the African American community is, and as big as rap and everything is, and that's what really makes AB popular. On Not only does he bring the boxing crowd, but he has the hip hop crowd with him too. So even as big as their fan base is, they are nowhere near the fan base that Manny Pacquiao brings with him. So even if you think about it, Manny Pacquiao, even at this point in his career, is bigger than every name at PBC Boxing. He surpasses every name at PBC Boxing. There's not a name at PBC Boxing that could even be set next to his and says my resume is as strong as yours. You know, as good as Earl Spence, even Earl Spence, as good as he is, you can't set his name next to Manny Pacquiao and be like, well, these guys are comparable to each other, because they just not. Manny Pacquiao is on a whole nother level, you know, as far as name and status and what he's done within the sport. So the conclusion is Manny Pacquiao is #1 boxer at PBC. And he hasn't even fought for them guys yet. So it's crazy, man. He's only got a 2-fight deal. He hasn't even fought. He's the best name that those guys have. I mean, he would be the best name on anybody's stable at this point, you know, unless you stuck him with on Floyd Mayweather promotion, then he's the #2 guy, you know. But you know, that's Ali Land Boxing Talk for now, man. Shoot me a comment down below. Please hit that like and subscribe button. We out of here.